Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're super excited to have you all here for First in My Family. This is an event for first generation students, families, any community members who wants to learn a little bit more about first generation college students and how Santa Fe College supports them. So you will be hearing from different resources on campus that support students. And yeah, we're super excited to be able to say that Santa Fe College, we do have a lot of first gen students. And through that, we want to continue to create an environment for first generation students to know that they're being supported. And just as a reminder, if you are ever on campus in the Office of Admissions, we do have our first gen stickers. So it says First in My Family. Feel free to stop by the Office of Admissions to pick some up. We have stickers and then we also have buttons. So definitely stop by. But we can't talk about first generation students without defining first generation college students. And I did put in a chat our website when it comes to Santa Fe College. We do have a first gen checklist, so feel free to check that out. And we also are going to have a couple of first gen speakers to our current students. But just to remind everybody, the definition of a first generation college student, it is a first generation college student is defined as a student whose parents or legal guardians have not completed a bachelor's degree. So that means that you are the first person in your family to attend a four-year college or university to attend a bachelor's degree. So that is just parents. If your siblings went off to college, you are still considered a first, if your siblings went off to college, you are still considered a first generation college student as long as your parents do not have that bachelor's degree. And we do have different, like I said, resources, different people on here who will kind of help give us more resources. But to get started, I do want to share a little bit more about one of our students that we have who will be speaking. Our first speaker would be Eric Williams. Eric just graduated from Eastside High School recently, and I would like to invite Eric to share a little bit about his transition from high school into college and what it means to him to be a first generation college student. So Eric.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi, sorry my camera's off, I'm kind of, in my car. But for me, being a first gen student was kind of hard. It was more so hard because I didn't really have that inspiration to look up to. Like saying my parents went to college and I'm trying to follow in their footsteps. It was more of me creating my own journey, more of me creating my own story, my own path. It was really hard to walk that path alone because my parents didn't know the process or know the steps to get into colleges or go through these type of things. But that never meant that they stopped supporting me. It was just more of we only can get you so far. You have to take the rest of the leap, the rest of the step by yourself. So me being a first gen student at Santa Fe was very welcoming. It felt more comfortable to me versus me going to like UF instantly, because I felt the classes felt more wholesome. The teachers seemed as if they cared more and understood more. And then the resources were amazing as a first gen student. I had people there for me by my side, my advisor, counselors. Miss Izzy, she was there for me instantly when I was just transferring over. So being a first gen student is kind of scary, but it's not scary at the same time. You feel very nervous and very like your heart's racing, but the thrill of it, knowing that you're going to go out on a path that nobody in your family has gone out before and taken, it seems like just more for the taking and more for you to experience. But that truly is my experience as a first gen student.
Yeah, and then Eric, this is your first semester at Santa Fe College. So what advice would you give a student who is a current high school student who is, this is their senior year, they're going to transition pretty soon into college. Do you have any advice that you would give them?
Some advice I would give, this is like my first semester, it would be to go into college open-minded. Like do not get the closed off stereotype that college is going to be complicated or college is all about party. Get the stereotypes out your head instantly, because college isn't complicated. College isn't partying. College is you finding yourself and you achieving that goal along with your peers and your teachers. People are by your side, even though it may not seem like it, but they are. Because the first step into college, in my first semester here, I was nervous. I didn't talk to people. And then you guys, Miss Izzy sees me with a whole group of people now.
Yeah.
So it really goes to show that once you come out of your shell, you're going to truly like enjoy yourself and excel in the school.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much for sharing, Eric. Yeah, I
Of
did
course.
come around campus for sure with so many friends that he has made. And I think it's just pretty awesome to Eric, his senior year of high school versus now. As he was saying, the college journey is definitely how you make it. And then you also have fun along the way. Eric, is there anything else that you want to add as far as, just being a freshman student, what that means to you, and or anything else that you want to tell the audience?
Something else that I want to add is truly don't give up. Like that was the hardest thing for me because I was really worried. I was like, am I going to give up when I get there? Because I don't have that inspiration, like that motivation of my parents telling me to keep going. You can follow in our footsteps, but don't give up. That hope that you have of doing better than your family, and then showing your kids who are going to be your predecessor, if you do have kids, showing them that you made it and giving them a role model is what can drive you. So I would say don't give up on your dreams or your goals because you truly can get to it if you just work hard enough.
Yeah, that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Eric.
Of course.
And then I also have another student, John. He is actually one of our student ambassadors currently, and then he will be graduating pretty soon. John is also a student who graduated from Berry High School, so a local student, and he's also going to share a little bit more about himself as well. So John, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about your experience, your transition from high school to college, and what it means for you to be a first-gen student.
I mean, Eric pretty much covered everything up. It is difficult, but it's just how you handle it. For me, high school to college, it's kind of like the same thing because the class size is kind of like the same. And like what Eric said, it was the best fit because I didn't want to go to university where all the class size are big. You have a bunch of students in there, and you won't get that one-on-one experience with a teacher that you have, or you probably don't even know your teacher. And all the professor here at Santa Fe has been great to me. I would email them if I have any question with certain assignments, and so like I would email them nonstop. Like I'm a pain in the butt, but if I need something done, I would email them, and then they'll email back to me. And it's been hard, and definitely being a first-gen student, definitely got a chip on your shoulder. Like what Eric said, that you're the first one in your family to go to college. Your parents don't know the steps of being in college, but it's just gotta keep going. The more you just keep working, and then in the long run, it'll be all worth it.
Yeah, thank you. And is there any advice that you would give to someone who is a current high school student?
So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. College is gonna be hard. But my biggest advice is do your schoolwork whenever you can. Even if it's just an hour, 30 minutes or to an hour, do it, because college is gonna require you to do more work outside of school. So like me personally, I would go to, I got an hour class, but then again, I gotta stay three or four more hours. This is me, like being for, I would stay 3 or 4 more hours in the library, like just trying to get this certain assignment done, working ahead, and also being having a full-time job. So time management is gonna be everything.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anything else that you want to add before you close?
I mean, it's pretty much what Eric said. Just don't give up. It's all gonna be all worth it, and whatever obstacle comes in your way, just try to overcome it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you, John. I think it's super important to hear from other current college students who are first gen. There's plenty of people on this call who will be sharing resources who themselves were first generation college students, but to hear from current students is important because we continue to have students who need that guidance. We continue to have students who don't know where to start, and that's where we come in and we provide that guidance for them and those resources for them. So speaking of that, we do want to talk a little bit about the Santa Fe College admissions process, because once again, it can be a little bit confusing, it can be a little bit overwhelming, but at Santa Fe, the process is pretty easy. So I do want to have Robert talk a little bit about the admissions process when it comes to Santa Fe College.
All right. Hi, folks. My name is Robert Gregory. I work in the admissions office. I was an admissions advisor there for a long time, and now I'm working with part of our new high school outreach team that we're putting together. I want to say, first of all, that no question is off limits in the admissions office. We are the first point of contact for you before you meet with a teacher or take a class or talk to an advisor or even get your financial aid all straightened out. Oftentimes, you'll be talking to us first in the admissions office. So we get a lot of questions about how do I apply, or what's the process from people that really have no idea how to get started. And it's very simple. Everything that we can do for you and point you to is pretty much online. So you can come into the office and talk to us. You can send us an email. You can check into our digital lobby and ask us a question, and we'd be happy to help you out. That's what we do in the admissions office. So let me go ahead, and I'm just going to quickly run through sort of the steps that you would follow if you were applying to Santa Fe. Again, it's very simple. It really is just as easy as going through our online admissions form, filling out some details. All right, here we go. So let me go back just a step or two here, just to kind of show you where I started from. This is the Santa Fe website here. Up here is the Apply to SF button. And if you click on that, which is again right here, takes you to the admissions page. And just scrolling down a little bit will take you to this button right here, which is the Apply button on the admissions page. And if you click that, that will take you here to the Start New Application screen. You click that. And then my next step from there was going to be to click United States Citizen and just kind of show you really quickly where you would go from there. So there's a next buttons underneath my Zoom panel here. There we go. Right, so you can see the different types of student statuses and categories that you can fit into as a student at Santa Fe. You can see first time in college is right here. That's kind of our main focus for tonight, but you can also be a transfer from another school, transient student just taking maybe 1 or 2 classes at Santa Fe. And then we have continuing ed and career pathway students down here at the bottom too. And they each sort of explain a little bit about what each category is about. So let's go ahead and choose first time in college and hit next. Then ask you what kind of diploma do you have? So you do need some sort of a high school graduation or equivalent to apply to Santa Fe and take college level classes with us. So you could be homeschooled, you can have a high school diploma, GED, and then we have the high set and special diploma options here that don't get used very often. If you do have any questions about that, we'd be happy to sort of help you out with diploma types and how you submit those and everything. Typically, we see a lot of high school, homeschool, and GED diplomas. So I'm going to click on high school here and hit next. This is the screen right here where you create an account. I'm not really going to go through all the details on here. You can kind of see what you've got, your name, your address, your email address, social security number, things like that. It will ask you what high school you attended if you continue clicking next. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where it's going to generate a student ID number for you. When it does that, you'll confirm that using probably your phone or an email link that will send out to you, and it will create a student account for you. I think I have an example here of a student account. Hopefully I can share that with you, make that come up okay. This right here, I may have to change my screen. Do you guys see that my status page right now, or is that still on the other? Is that still on the application list?
We see the My Status.
You see the My Status. Okay. So when it generates a student account for you, the nice thing about this student account is these are all the steps that you would need to complete to be fully enrolled and be able to actually sign up for classes. So you can see here, you've got all of these tabs right here with little exclamation points next to them are steps that need to be completed to be fully enrolled. The only one right now with a little green check mark here is one of the trainings that I've completed on here, but you can see there's a lot that still need to be done. The nice thing is that each one of these steps, if you click on them, it sort of explains what each step needs to have done to it to be able to complete it. So for high school transcripts, that's as easy as contacting your high school, and usually your high school's records person, probably somebody in the front office can help you out with that, and send a copy of your high school transcripts to us. When we get that in, that's one of the main things that we need for you to be fully enrolled, this will then change to a green check mark. Orientation on here is as simple as watching a video. The same thing with the training, those are videos, and this introduction to advising is also a video. The nice thing about the introduction to advising is when you complete that, that will allow you then to visit a program advisor who can talk to you about what it is that you're interested in and talk to you a little bit about what classes might be the best fit for you. Work out sort of a path to achieving whatever degree it is that you'd like to get at Santa Fe. So whatever degree it is that you sort of indicate an interest for when you first sign up with us, the program advisor can kind of figure out the best path towards getting that degree and figure it out sort of on your timeline. So typically, you know, an AA or AS degree would take 2 years to get. If you're working, if you have things that may sort of interfere with taking classes full time, they can sort of help chart a path for you that may take a little bit longer. But they can also figure out ways to save time by only taking the classes that best fit the degree that you're after. So it's very important to visit a program advisor. I attended Santa Fe myself. I took 1 or 2 unnecessary classes by not visiting a program advisor. So I can speak from experience that visiting one and getting your degree worked out as well in advance as you can will save you time and save you money in the long run. Let's see, your Florida residency on here is a very important step. This is the step that will get you in-state tuition, which is sort of between 1/4 and 1/3 of the price of out-of-state tuition. So it's well worth completing this step on here. It's a lot of detail to it, but very simply broken down is if you are claimed on your parents' taxes or you're under the age of 24, typically your parents or guardian will be providing a driver's license or vehicle registration or voter ID, any 2 of those 3 documents that indicate that they've lived here in Florida for the past 12 months. And it's as simple as that. Any 2 of those 3 documents will get you Florida residency. If you're over the age of 24, you can supply your own documents, your own vehicle registration, voter ID, or driver's license. There's some other documents also that will work for residency if you don't have one of those 2, or if you're missing both. There's other options that can work out for you as well. Things like lease agreements, utility bills, Florida state ID cards, things along those lines. We have a complete list of everything that will count for that on our website, so you can look that up. But like I said, feel free to get in touch with an admissions advisor if you have any questions about Florida residency. The admissions people are the people that actually work with residency and process those documents. So they're the people to reach out for if you have any questions about that. Beyond that, this registration stops button down here along the bottom kind of summarizes all the steps that are left over to be completed before you're fully enrolled and able to sign up for classes. Once you've changed all these little red exclamation points on here to green check marks, you are good to go. You are ready to sign up for classes as soon as registration opens. So if it was like spring semester, for example, and you were applying now and you've gotten all your things on there complete, I believe registration will probably open at the moment, or it's just about to open for the spring semester. We have various semesters in the spring also. They're not just the one that starts in January and goes through till, oh gosh, the end of April, beginning of May. We have a lot of mini semesters also in the spring. And a full schedule of those are right on our website. You can check those out and sort of see when different semesters begin and end. And then as far as registering for classes, like I said, your advisor can walk you through the process for that. You can see on here, it's actually a required element. So if you're just starting out with us, your first semester, you do need to visit with a program advisor, and they can kind of walk you through the process of actually signing up for classes, looking them up in your student account, seeing what's available, what the times are, and then the different spring semesters that are being offered right now. So you can, if my account was a little bit further along here, I'd be able to actually schedule an appointment with my advisor You'll be assigned an advisor that will work with you throughout your time at Santa Fe. So you can go back to them, they'll get to know you a little bit. You can always drop into the advisement center, actually, which is right above the admissions office in the admissions building. So I think that's pretty much the overview of admissions there that I wanted to give for you guys. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the chat, or like I said, you can get in touch with us through our admissions email and our admissions lobby. All right, turn it back over to you, Izzy.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. Yes, if you have any questions about the admissions process, please reach out. We're here to help and answer any questions, specifically the Florida residency. If you need additional help and support with that, definitely reach out and let us know. So another important thing when it comes to the admissions process and just getting ready to get started in college is financial aid. And with that is typically completing the FAFSA. So talking about FAFSA and financial aid, we do have Nasika here who will be sharing a little bit more information with us when it comes to financial aid, any scholarships, and specifically the FAFSA application. I know they made some recent changes. So Nasika, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Izzy. Could you allow me to share my screen? I was on the internet issues. So while we're doing that, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nasika Dennis. I am the Financial Literacy Admission Specialist for Santa Fe College, and I'm going to be speaking to you guys about financial aid. There it is. All right. So like Izzy said, when it comes down to the admissions process, another component of it is financial aid. I'm just going to go real quick and give you guys really the basics of it all, and feel free to take pictures of anything. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me, and I'm here to be of assistance. So what is financial aid? Basically, it's the money that you need to help you pay for college. So this includes grants, work study, scholarships, and loans. And it's also to help you make school affordable. So grants and scholarships are free money that you don't have to pay back. Work study is earned money from an on-campus job, and loans is borrowed money that has to be paid back with interest, even if you don't graduate. So this slide just breaks it down more to each category. So with the grants, there are, we have the Pell Grant, which is the largest source of Pell Grant available for students. And one grant that I really want to hone in on, and it's on the last square to your right, is the First Generation Matching Grant. So this is a need-based grant that's available for undergraduate students, but it's only eligible, students are eligible only if they are first generation students. We also have the Santa Fe scholarships that are available. We have the Santa Fe Foundation Scholarship that's also available. It's one application that is sent out to 150 different scholarships that you can apply for. And if Santa Fe is not the school that you want to go to, every institution has its own scholarships that they house. There are also third-party scholarships available as well. We have the list here. One that I really want to hone in on is the Southern Scholarship that's available for students. So Santa Fe does not have any dorms on campus. However, through the Southern Scholarship, there are, this is a scholarship for housing. So it's a communal housing opportunity where it's free housing, free rent. You just contribute to the chores around the house and the home. And then you have work study again, which is earned money from an on-campus job. There are several positions available. This is only available for students who receive the award through FAFSA. And then the last one is federal loan debt, and we're hoping through this presentation, this is your very last resort. So federal student loans are made by the government, and these are terms and conditions that are set by the law. But there are benefits to it compared to a private loan. There are fixed interest rates, income-driven repayment plans, and loan forgiveness. Now, there are three types of different loans that are available through federal loans. You have the subsidized loan, which is based on financial need. The government pays the interest on the loan while you're enrolled. Once you graduate, you do have a 6 months grace period. And once that period is over, then you start paying the loan back with interest. Unsubsidized loans are the opposite. You are responsible for interest as soon as you sign your name on the dotted line and the money has been dispersed. And then the Parent Plus loan is just another form of unsubsidized loan, but this is to take out for their dependent undergrad. You come to the point in your college career that you do need to take out a loan, we highly suggest that if borrow smart, borrow only what you need, and remember the decisions that you make with your student loans now will affect your future. So it's really important that we just take out what we need, spend it wisely, just on tuition if possible, and definitely know how much you owe as well. So FAFSA. The FAFSA is the federal application for free student aid. So everything I talked about with grants, work study and loans, this is all awards that you receive from FAFSA. The scholarships that we talked about through the institution is an application that must be filled out every year, and it opens October 1st. So as if you haven't already, the FAFSA has been open now for a month. Make sure you go and fill out your FAFSA. On the FAFSA, you're able to list up to 10 schools that you want to go to, and make sure that you put the school code. You will need tax information from 2 years prior. So for completing the FAFSA, the 2022-2023 FAFSA, you must use your 2020 tax information in order to fulfill it. Dependent students need to provide parent and student information. You are considered dependent up until the age of 24, according to FAFSA. So there's 6 things that you need to fill out for the FAFSA. Real quick, you just need your username and password, social security, again, like we mentioned, 2020 tax records, records of your untaxed income, assets, and then the list of schools you're interested in. So when it comes down to how much aid you need to receive, so the way it works is they take your cost of attendance and you minus it from your estimated family contribution. Your cost of attendance is the estimated total to attend the school, which includes tuition, fees, housing, books, and personal expenses. The estimated family contribution is your family's financial strength and is calculated through a formula that's established through the law. And the formula considers a lot of things like your tax and untaxed income, assets, benefits, family size, and the number of people in your family attending college during the year. And then for them to identify your financial need, again, they take the cost of attendance, so how much it is to go to the school, minus your estimated family contribution, and that equals your financial aid. Now, there are some special circumstances that are considered through FAFSA that are kept in mind. These are the top 3 that we see often. So change in income is the first one. You may qualify for something that's called a professional judgment, which allows a financial aid administrator to adjust yours or your parents' income. Change in dependency, if you no longer have contact with your parent, or if there's documentation supporting this, you may qualify for a dependency override as well. And then homelessness, if an individual is without a home and this individual typically lives in motels, hotels, or with someone else due to not having an actual home to go to, this will also be considered a special circumstance. So after we fill out the FAFSA, there's some 6 things to keep in mind. Remember to review your student aid report. This is just a summary of everything that you've provided through the FAFSA. Reviewing your EFC. Once you get your SAR, look for your EFC number, and you can find it at the top of the first page under your social security number. And then make any corrections that you need to make. You typically have to wait till your FAFSA has been submitted, but if you have to make any changes for any reason, you can go back, log in, and make those corrections, and then you'll see those corrections made typically within 3 days. Review any of your financial aid history. Again, with first generation college students, this is your first time going, but it doesn't hurt just to check to see If there is any financial aid history for any reason, double check with your schools with your financial aid offices to make sure there's no additional paperwork that is needed. You don't want to leave any money on the table at all. And be prepared if you were selected for verification. Again, this is just the process that the schools use to confirm that the data is accurate, what was reported on the FAFSA. So they may ask you to provide any additional information or documentation, and you want to make sure you get it done by the deadline requested. This just goes into the cost of schooling in classes here at Santa Fe, just to put in a plug and show how affordable we are here at Santa Fe College. And then feel free to take pictures here. So finding and applying for scholarships. There are different scholarships that are available, and these are common FAQ questions about scholarships. So the kinds that are available are merit-based, which are based on academic achievement or a combination of academics and special talents, traits, or interests. Need-based, and there are some that are geared towards particular groups as well. So there are many scholarships out there for first-generation students. Now, remember, a scholarship may cover the entire cost of your tuition. It may be a one-time thing, but remember to apply no matter the amount. You can go about finding scholarships through contacting the financial aid office at your school, at the school you plan to attend, your high school counselor, different organizations around your community, ethnic-based organizations, and even your employer or your parents' employer as well. Depending on which scholarship that you apply for also depends on the deadline as well. So it's really important to keep track of when these scholarships are due and when they are requiring the information. And applying for scholarships, it does vary on the scholarship that you're applying for as well. And then again, how you receive your scholarship, it depends on the scholarship itself. The money will go directly to the college where it will be applied to your tuition and fees. Whatever money's left over is your refund check. And it's really, really important as you receive scholarships to let your institution know that the school that you plan on going to, that you receive scholarships. And then I want to cover this real quick, and this will be my last slide. So this is really important to know and to keep in mind. There's something called the Satisfactory Academic Progress, or SAP. Every institution has this. This is how students keep their financial aid. There's a certain criteria to follow. So for Santa Fe, you have to maintain a 2.0 GPA, complete 67% of your attempted hours, and finish your program of study within 150 time frame. So maintain a 2.0, pass all your classes, and graduate on time. Each institution has their own criteria to follow, so it's really important to reach out to them and see what their SAP requirements are. And that is my financial aid presentation.
Thank you, Nasika. And just a couple of things that I want to highlight from her presentation was the SF Foundation scholarships. So as she mentioned, there is one application and there's multiple scholarships available for students. And then they also do take into consideration first-gen students, their specific scholarships for that. And that link is in the chat for you. And then also the Southern Scholarship Foundation, which is the rent-free housing scholarship. Once again, you're not paying rent, you're just paying food and utility services. So per semester is about less than $1,000. Great opportunity to, find housing and also to build community. I was a recipient of a scholarship house here in Gainesville a couple of years ago, great opportunity, and I still recommend all students to look into it. But speaking of like time management and getting to know yourself a little bit more about being a college student, we do have the Learning Commons here with us to talk to us a little bit more about the resources that they have to offer college students. So Kenya, the floor is yours.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Kina Wenchen, and I'm an academic success coach in Santa Fe's Learning Commons. And so I'm always delighted to be part of this orientation, and I always enjoy talking about the many resources that are available to you as a Santa Fe student. There's lots of new experiences ahead, and I loved hearing what Eric and John talked about from their personal experience, how it can be a little bit scary, and that sometimes it does feel like you're doing this all by yourself. The good news that I have to share this evening is that you actually don't have to do it by yourself. You have an entire support team here at Santa Fe College. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So welcome to the family. Your success is really important to all of us here at Santa Fe. And I look forward to helping, personally celebrating all of your accomplishments and helping you achieve your academic and personal goals. So the Learning Commons. The Learning Commons is a shared space within our Santa Fe library. And that is our hub of all academic support, both in person and virtually. So I'm just going to take just a couple of minutes tonight to show you how to get connected with all of those resources at Santa Fe. First of all, as I mentioned, you have a whole team that's here to support you, including your professors. And I think it was Eric who said he often reaches out to his professor to ask any questions. And, you know, that is the first person that you should go to if you do have a question about your courses. In addition to that, the Learning Commons has trained professional and peer tutors who are willing and able to support you in the content of all of your courses. And we have academic success coaches as well. So unlike tutors, where tutors support you in the content and helping you understand the material of your particular course, academic coaches are partnering with students and talking about all sorts of study strategies, tips for staying, for having good time management and staying motivated even through challenge. And just this semester, we've expanded our program to include peer coaches. And so it's always empowering for students to share their personal experiences and how they've been able to be successful here at Santa Fe. And we actually employ students who are eligible for work study as our peer coaches. So I'm hoping that Eric and John will drop by if they would like to become a peer coach in the Learning Commons. In addition to our tutors who are content knowledgeable and very welcoming, and in addition to our academic success coaches, we also, the Learning Commons sponsors and facilitates many study strategies workshops that students can join now in person or online, whichever is convenient for you. And these workshops talk about all sorts of things, but we've learned from our students what's important to them. And so we try to gear our workshops around students' identified needs. So many students talk to us about how they would like to hear strategies around test taking, how to deal with test anxiety, how to study smarter, not harder. And so you can access these workshops in person, online, or on demand through our Learning Commons webpage. How do you get there? So once you become a student here at Santa Fe College, you'll have access to Canvas, which is our learning management system that possibly houses all of your courses and information about all sorts of things. And in the navigation bar of Canvas, you will see our now iconic Santa Fe Learning Commons pencil icon. And with one click on the pencil icon on the left-hand navigation bar of Canvas, you are immediately welcomed into this hub of academic support where students can connect with our tutors and coaches and find schedule for all of the workshops that I talked about. So basically, one click away, you have all of the support. And by the way, all of these services are free. Once you click on that pencil icon, it'll take you to the next page in the Learning Commons course. And there you can see all of the dedicated Zoom links to be connected with our coaches, our language and writing tutors. By the way, Santa Fe supports almost all of the courses taught here, including 4 languages. And that would include Chinese, French, Spanish, and even American Sign Language. We also support lots of math, sciences, and business tutoring, including economics, statistics, and everything from elementary algebra to calculus. And here as well, you connect, find the schedule of our workshops and presentations, and the hours of availability of these services. And by the way, most of our tutoring and coaching is available till 10 p.m. at night Monday through Thursday, and even weekend and evening availability as well. So I have put in let me do that. I'm going to add the email right here in the chat. Reach out. I would love to connect you with an academic success coach. The email is there on the screen and it's also in the chat. Or you can visit sfcollege.edu/learning-commons for more information. Again, my name is Kina, and that is my direct phone number on the screen. Any questions?
I do have a quick question. You are still offering tutoring through Zoom, correct? So it's in person and Zoom.
That is correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Any questions, definitely reach out. As she mentioned, there is a lot of resources available within the Learning Commons. Maybe you just want to work there, or maybe you need additional help. Make sure that you're utilizing these resources because they're so important. There's no such thing as asking help too early. That's something that I wish I would have done my freshman year, and I did not. I waited till last minute and ended up failing a class, just to be completely transparent. So that's like a first gen mistake that I wish somebody would have told me from the beginning. So kind of talking about more resources on campus, we do have our student support services on campus that they do assist current students, and I wanted to bring them on so that way they can talk about all the different resources that they have available. So yeah, student support services, the floor is yours.
My name is Andrea Mender. I'm the director of our TRIO Student Support Services STEM program, which we call STEM 3S, and we're excited to talk with you today.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Terry Coker, and I am the coordinator of the SERVE program, which I cater to veterans that attend Santa Fe College. I just wanted to give you a brief history of the TRIO program and Student Support Services and how it started. TRIO began with Upward Bound, which emerged out of the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964 in response to President Johnson's declaring war on poverty. In 1965, Talent Search, the second outreach program, was created as part of the Higher Education Act. In 1968, Student Support Services, which was originally known as Special Services for Disadvantaged Students, was authorized by the Higher Education Amendments and became in a series of educational opportunity programs. By the late 1960s, the term TRIO was coined to describe these federal programs. Today, TRIO includes 8 programs targeted to serve and assist low-income individuals, first-generation college students, and individuals with disabilities to progress through the academic pipeline from middle school to post-bachelor programs. Moreover, our goal is to increase retention and graduation rates of the participants in the TRIO program.
When we talk about the goals of the program, in the end, we want all of our students to graduate within 4 years of joining the program. So that's always going to be the end goal for every single student. Some students will decide to transfer, and our academic coaches can also help students with the transfer process in terms of what does that look like, because it just looks differently for each and every single different school that the students are applying to. But to get to graduation, it's important that students also remain in good academic standing every semester, especially if students are receiving a FAFSA or Pell Grant, which, as we have learned today, students must maintain a good academic standing every term. So in order to do that, we do have an array of services, starting with tutoring. We work in collaboration as well with the Learning Commons to support students, and our coaches also go through professional development to support our students in maintaining that good academic standing each term, and that will definitely look different for every student. And to try to plan all of this together, our academic coaches, they start by creating a roadmap with the student to prioritize goals each term. So the end goal will always be the graduation for the student and or a transfer. But in order to get there, all of our services are designed to make sure that students are in good academic standing each semester and continuing college term after term. It may happen that some students may need to take one semester off for multiple reasons. However, when students come back to college, when they are ready to return, even as they are starting to reapply or reconnect with some of the previous professors or the admissions team, the SSS will still be here to help those students get back on track and continue progressing towards their graduation. So that's I would say we have a more of a holistic approach with the student, and our goal is to work with students long-term until they graduate or transfer to a four-year institution. Okay, and I would also like to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about my own experience as a first-generation college student. I attended the University of Puerto Rico in Rio Piedras in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I was a first-generation college student. My parents didn't attend college. I also came from a low-income background, so that meant that I received FAFSA, and I was also, I want to say, tagged on my institution as a first-generation college student, which actually means that I am identified for more resources that are on campus. So I needed to do FAFSA. So during my sophomore year, I had, I believe it was the first time that I was doing FAFSA by myself. So I had submitted all the documents and I was selected for verification. Now, I was living in Puerto Rico with my grandmother, who was claiming me in her taxes, but my mother and my family was living in New York. So it's one of those situations that I had to, when I was selected for verification, I had to explain to my mom first, hey, I was selected for verification and I need your taxes. But, and her response was, but your grandmother claims you on her taxes and you're living with her, so she's your guardian. As we know, of course, FAFSA dependency guidelines would have required me to provide my parents financial documents, not my grandmother, although yes, I was living with my grandmother. But it was a back and forth first. I had to explain to my parents. I had to then speak to financial aid to explain to them also what my situation was. That in itself was a day-long diligence to do. But we went back and forth. Eventually, I did submit the documents that I needed to submit, but it was past deadline, and I was not able to study the next semester. So although it was in the moment, it was an unfortunate event. Of course, it wasn't part of my academic plan to miss one semester because I had a mishap with financial aid. However, during that time, I was able to work. I was able to get my laptop because I was usually at the computer lab or at the library, and then I was able to go back to continue my classes until I was able to graduate. Now, the plot twist here is that I do recall receiving letters in the mail to my hometown from the what in my alma mater was the SSS program. And as I was pre-qualified as a first generation college student and I received financial aid, so there was this, this resource for me. But for me, the idea of receiving a letter in the mail and actually going to an office and saying, hey, I received this letter, it did not come naturally. So I didn't necessarily follow through. It wasn't until I actually started working with TRIO that at a conference, I met the program director of the SSS at my alma mater in Puerto Rico. and I introduced myself and whatnot. But then I also made that in like pretty substantial connection. If I had responded to those letters that I was receiving as a first generation college student, I would have probably had been helped by academic coaches like the ones that I work with today, who could have sat down with me perhaps and deciphered that letter that I had received for financial aid, would have helped me stay on track with those important dates that sometimes we miss because there's college, as Eric was saying, is a lot. And also just having someone to talk these things through, even before going to an office, even before going to a professor, that is something that I could have had if I had responded to those letters from my institution's SSS. However, I also understand that sometimes it may not come naturally, right, to many people to go from receiving an email or receiving a letter or seeing a sign to actually signing up. So we do have an office on campus, and what we would love to is to invite you to just stop by. Next week is actually on Monday, is First Generation Day, National First Gen Student Day. And throughout the week, we're going to be hosting or opening our doors to students who just want to come, say hello, see the space, because we do have a space for students to lounge. We do have a private computer lab for our students. We also have our academic coaches are in the Trio Hub, as we call it. And if you're a veteran, the SERV office is also next to the admissions office. So very, very centric located. So next week, yes, we will be at the Trio Hub, which is in office L51. Hopefully you can pick up your first gen sticker there. Check it out, just see the space, pick up your sticker. If you will have questions, if you want to solve a challenge, we normally have a challenge on the board, meet our staff, and get a feel of it, even before applying. You know, if you find like, you know, this is not for me, then at least you tried, and at least you know more people on campus. So if something happens later on and you change your mind, you can always come back. But you know, just check out the hub, meet the staff. If you're interested, or if you're a veteran, you can also check out the SERV office, which is next to admissions. But in general, we are here to help students, and we are here to just be a part of their support network on campus.
Thanks, Roxana. Your story definitely speaks to many of us who have had those kind of experiences and wish we had had somebody in our back pocket to have a conversation with about those challenges that come up. And so we do want to make sure that you know what is available. So we talk about, we want to see you graduate, we want to help you graduate, we want to help you stay in good academic standing, but how do we do that? And so we do have a number of resources that we provide to students through our 3 SSS programs. And just as a reminder, our 3 programs are the Classic program, which works with students in a wide variety of majors, our STEM program, which works with students in specific STEM degree programs, and our Veterans program that works with students who are veterans. And all of our programs offer the same services. Little things might be different here or there, but for the most part, we're providing the same services. And the big thing, the most important thing is, yes, it's free. So yes, no cost for any of these programs that we're providing. So of course, one of the things with staying in good academic standing is having access to academic support, such as tutoring. There are so many resources available to help you with your classes. It's not just about always even understanding the content, like understanding all of the ins and outs in each homework problem, but really being able to understand the concepts that you're studying in your classes, especially as you start advancing through your classes. And so being open to connecting with tutoring in some way, whether it's through the Learning Commons, whether it's through an online tutoring program. We offer some, the college has some available. We want you to know that those resources are available to you and not be afraid to go use them. Reach out. So we do offer online and in-person tutoring. We also want to provide support for you regarding finances. So whether that is connecting with financial aid, making sure you get your FAFSA and have your questions answered as you are completing your FAFSA, but also just being able to manage the money that you have. So it can be kind of daunting to think, okay, I'm having to take care of myself and an apartment and classes and all of this, and how am I going to make sure that I have enough money? So let's sit down and make sure that we have a good plan for how you are going to spend your money and make positive, good decisions that are going to be helpful for you as you move forward. We also work with you around career advisement and making sure that you have a good understanding of your career path opportunities. You might have something in mind, or you may not have something in mind, and we can help support you there. Another piece of one of our goals that Roxana talked about was transferring. So being able to transfer to a four-year institution or a four-year program that might even be at Santa Fe. So we want to help give you those opportunities to be able to check out maybe some other colleges that maybe you wouldn't consider. So you might participate in a campus visit or a cultural experience that just gets you out and experiencing different things. We do also offer workshops and space for students to be able to come to. So we have our computer lab, printing, our STEM program has laptops available for students, always with the opportunity to be able to come in and print. And of course, we offer grant aid for students who are eligible. Not necessarily every student that is in our program would meet the eligibility for grant aid. It just in one semester you might, and another semester you might not. So each program is a little bit different on how the grant aid is dispersed, but it is something that's available. So now you know all about our program. What does it mean? Who can be involved? Who can be in our program? So we wouldn't be here tonight if one of the eligibility criteria wasn't first generation in college. So if you're a first generation college student, like Izzy said, that neither of your parents received a bachelor's degree, you are eligible for our program. We do also have income eligibility related to our programs. Most Pell Grant recipients would be eligible for on the income part of our checklist, but not necessarily, that may not be the exact reason why you would or wouldn't be eligible based on income. We also, something that's not on this list is we do accept students with disabilities. So if you're registered with the Disability Resource Center on campus, you may be eligible for a program. And then a couple of other things just to keep in mind. All three of those are for all three of our programs. Also, students who have not received an AA or AS degree are who we're looking for as well. So if you yourself have received a degree, then you wouldn't be eligible. But then two of our programs have some specific things. So the program that I work with for STEM is that you must be enrolled in an approved STEM major. You can find that list on our website, and I'll be putting our website up in just a minute. So not necessarily everything that would be STEM may fall under this program. For example, mathematics, if you're a math major, you wouldn't fall under STEM, you would fall under the classic program. It's just how it works. don't ask. But you can look at that list on our website. And then of course, for the SERV program, you must be a US military veteran. So I am going to turn it now over to Terry, who's going to talk about our application process.
Logan, it's very simple and it's free to apply for the programs. I'll say that one more time. Everything is absolutely free and it's easy to apply. Just go online and go to the website that's located above and complete the application verification form. You will meet with an academic coach to complete your individual student success plan. That way we can kind of talk to you to make sure you know everything about the program. But before that, you will actually talk to the coordinator and we will give you all the information to see if you're willing to be in a program. You have to meet certain criteria and you will meet with the academic coach after that. And then after that, you will get started. It's a very easy process. And I guarantee you, once you're in the program, you will pass word along to the next person and the next person, and you will get a lot out of what we offer here at Student Support Services. Thank you. And this is our contact information. Feel free to stop by the TRIO Hub and visit with Roxana and Andrea, or come over to the Veterans office and meet with myself and the staff we have over there.
All right, thank you so much. This is amazing. As you can see that the Santa Fe College has a lot to offer as far as like resources, and the common theme that I keep hearing is reach out. There's a lot of resources available and you are not alone. We are here to support you. We're here to help you and to guide you. And if you have any questions, feel free once again to put them in the chat. We will have a Q&A afterwards. And but real quick, we do have someone else that is going to provide more resources for us. Steve is going to tell us a little bit more about what he has to offer and what more resources Santa Fe has to offer for these students, for our students. So Steve, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to first start off by thanking everyone that shared a little bit of insight on their experiences, you know, the first generation experiences here that we've had. I myself am a first generation low income student. I actually am a Santa Fe alumni, so I've been through the process. I'm from a small farm town called Immokalee, Florida, where only 5% of the population holds a bachelor's degree. So that means 95% of the people coming out of Immokalee are first generation. And so, yeah, knowledge is power. If you don't know about the resources, there's no way you can really take advantage of them. But it just speaks volumes about how Santa Fe can and will support their students. So I work for the Educational Opportunity Center. It's a part of the TRIO programs. I am an interim academic coach, and we essentially provide educational, career, financial aid advisement to essentially all adults in North Central Florida. We can help you apply to any accredited school, college, or vocational program. Now, the interesting thing about the Educational Opportunity Center is it provides a way, it shows you how versatile education really is. So most people, you know, when you think college, you think a 4-year degree or possibly a 2-year degree, but it's just so much more than that. So one of the things that I always do is whenever I interact with anybody, I ask them what their passions are and how they feel like, what they want to study, what they want to do, and then we'll go from there. So essentially, the Educational Opportunity Center's mission statement, like I said, is to create educational and equity opportunities for the residents here in North Central Florida. We serve 7 counties. That includes Alachua, Bradford, Gilchrist, Union, and a number of others. What I do also enjoy is we go through career planning with all of our individuals that come through the door. So that means, like I said, we discover their career interests, their aptitudes and abilities, and then we roll off of their strengths. Not too much more than everybody else has offered or shared, but it's just a great resource for students, especially first generation. Our target essentially is first generation net income. We want 67% is our goal to get through. We also have let's see here. We also have a lot of community partners. So, even if you're coming here, you're trying to advance yourself in education, we also can refer you to, counseling services. We can refer you to, anything essentially anything you need. Now, let's see here. I was speaking on financial aid. One thing that I did not know about when I was a first generation student, I didn't really know how to do my FAFSA. And, when you're first generation, you don't really get any help from your parents. So I kind of didn't, I kind of navigated as much as I could. I had, I asked people that I knew that went through college for a little bit of help here and there, but nonetheless, it was kind of, I went in there blind and I didn't really know much, but, through the process, I was able to, complete my FAFSA. I understand it now. I worked through with a work study. I've been working for the college actually since 2017. That was highlighted by the young lady that spoke about the financial aid. The Learning Commons is a great resource because, a lot of times whenever I was a student, I had to go and find tutoring and things like that. So that's a lot of the stuff that we can do here at the Educational Opportunity Center. All these resources that we have, we point the students in that direction and we help them get to where they need to go. So that's where we're at.
Thank you, Steve. Does anyone have any questions? We are kind of at the end of our program. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to mute yourself, put it in the chat. We still have a lot of our presenters here who can help answer any questions. But also, I just want to encourage you all to take all the information that you're learning today, whether you're watching this recording back or whether you are here currently, take all the information that you're learning and take it and share it with other people. Because our goal is to continue to reach students, to be able to support students and just to be a guide, as we said before, whether you are coming in to receive your AA and then transferring over to a university, or if you're here for a CTE program, a certificate, whatever the case may be, we are here to support you and to guide you. And I've been here at the college for almost 4 years, and I have been able to work with many students along the way, and even just my student ambassadors, been able to see how much they grow within a year and the support and how much guidance they do receive and how they are successful. And that's our goal, is that our students will be successful no matter where they go after they graduate from Santa Fe College. So if you do have any questions, like I said, feel free to put them in the chat or feel free to mute yourself. But other than that, thank you so much for joining us today. And we will be sharing this recording. But once again, share this information with other people.